It's the SKOR North Twins Show. Baseball.
SKOR North Twins Show. We are back after a holiday weekend. Sports Dad was in the press box. Were you in there all three games, Jed? I know you were there Friday and Sunday. Were you there for all
Two
three,
of the three
against Tampa? Two of the
I
three?
didn't go on Saturday. I watched it.
Okay.
You stayed at home and watched glorious Twins-Rays baseball over 4th of July weekend.
I did indeed.
Just rocking it.
So Twins off day today. Interesting little weekend. Couple walk-off wins. Another big comeback yesterday that falls short. Some blunders by the pitching staff, which I saw Rocco call out for on the PFP stuff. And then also some trade deadline percolating things. In fact, it's a little bit of a spoiler alert. That is my vibe check here as we get to it here in just a sec. Hit the like button and subscribe button, though, here on the SKOR North Twin Show YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys for any breaking news, anything that is rumbling with the trade deadline knocking here in about 3 weeks. We'll be up to date on it. So if you haven't already, hit the like button and subscribe button. So state of the Twins here before I get to that vibe check and kind of the latest on what is being said and reported about the Twins. So the Twins, as of this morning, are 43-47. They have a negative 18 run differential. They're in second place in the AL Central, 13.5 games back, and 5 games out of the wild card. So, yes, not insurmountable especially from the wild card side, but you are starting to see a little bit of distance. It's still very early. We're past the halfway point, but they're 5 games back of a wild card spot. From some key categories here, the Twins are 20th in runs scored, 21st in team OPS, 15th with runners in scoring position. The team ERA ranks 21st. Starters are 17th. Bullpen 22nd. That best bullpen in baseball thing. Not a top-heavy bullpen, but maybe not the best bullpen in baseball. Playoff odds. They have a 4.6% to make the playoffs per Baseball Reference, which is down about 2% in the last week. Fangraphs gives them just under a 20% chance to make the playoffs. That is also down from about 6%. And one last one here. Twins are 3-3 in the month of July, and they have a negative 4 run differential in those 6 games. Twins vibes. I'm going to jump in line here. Twins vibes are percolating. That is my vibe check. They're starting to percolate a little bit, not because they took 2 out of 3 from Tampa and had a couple crazy walk-off wins, but you're starting to see other teams give, or other league executives weigh in on what their plans are at the trade deadline. This is from, I believe, Jason Stark this morning of The Athletic. He says Minnesota has a glut of corner outfielder players who could, in theory, all be in play. Larnach, Walner, Castro, maybe even Royce Lewis, one AL executive told Stark.
Wow.
And they have an unbelievable top-heavy bullpen where Duran and Jax would be very buzzy commodities who have 2+ years of team control. I saw also Dan Hayes, The Athletic, reported that there were scouts at the game, and I can confirm Yankees and Phillies scouts were in the Target Field press box and, more importantly, watching the Twins intently, which makes sense because we talked about the Yankees last week being ideal trade partners. Phillies also having a good year, so Yankees and Phillies starting to look at that Twins roster, starting to pick at it a little bit. So my vibes, they're percolating. I don't look at a 2 out of 3 against Tampa Bay as we're going to turn the season around. I know Derek Falvey looks at 5 games being back as still maybe being in this thing. But if other scouts are looking at you, you haven't been good over the last 6 weeks, I would say the vibes are starting to percolate that a sell-off could be in play.
Philly's looking at the bullpen, right? Twins bullpen?
Probably.
Duran or Jax. That's, I'm very curious, and we, of course, don't know this, but I'm very curious what the team does think internally. Because, like, they have these spurts where they come back from the dead. They rise up from the grave, right? They're in the coffin, and then they come up, and it's like, oh my God, they're alive, and then they have a game like they did on Sunday, which was an eminently winnable baseball game, and that's why my vibe check is the Twins are somewhat maddening. If they would just suck full time, it would be simpler. And I know
but they're not that bad of a roster to like suck full time.
Exactly right. So they're just good enough to be maddening because you get the back-to-back walk-off wins in 2 incredibly different ways. The Bader home run on Friday and then the Brooks Lee squeeze bunt on Saturday, and you're like, oh, okay, there might be something here. But then on Sunday, I mean, Justin Topa comes in and throws the ball away, and I mean, Justin Topa to me, the problem with the bullpen is you've got about 2 or 3 guys that are white flag guys. Like you put them in, and it's like this game is done. So, but yes, I hope you're right, Declan. I hope you're right because this team needs to be definitely looking at trades, and I really don't think that you should be swayed by coming up from the coffin for a moment only to fall back down because you're dead.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this team, it is. I'll give you this. Twins vibes are actually miraculously better than they should be in the division. The fact that they are still second place in this division with what Cleveland and Kansas City, not that those teams were going to win 100 games or anything. Like the Tigers are pacing for probably 100 wins right now, close to it. But they were certainly supposed to be better than 5 games and 8 games below 500. So despite the Twins treading and trying to keep their nose above the break of the water, the Royals and the Guardians have it even worse than the Twins. Run differential too. Like there's no flukes here. These are just teams that they're not nearly as good on the field as they were supposed to be. It's funny because like the Twins have trouble scoring runs for spurts. They've scored 70 more runs than the Royals so far this year, and about 60 more runs than the Guardians. So just crazy that they're still in second place and 5 games back in the wild card. Declan brought that up. I would say like it's not. You said it's not insurmountable. I agree because you're only 5 games back of a wild card spot. But the fact that you have to climb over 4 teams to get into that 3rd spot makes it really, really hard. And Kansas City's only a half game behind you because it's less about the games behind. It's equally you have to okay, cool. Like you gain ground on the Mariners, but are the Red Sox and the Rangers and the Angels also winning games or not? So I would just say, hey, the silver lining here is you're still in second place in the division. This is great. Go Twins.
What's Cleveland lost now? 10 consecutive?
Yes, 10 consecutive.
I mean,
it's bad.
Yeah, it's awful.
It's not
a joke. Division's a joke.
Yeah. And even they could, we've seen it before. In 2017, they sold at the deadline, sold off their closer, flipped their starting pitcher that they acquired a week prior. Tigers last year sold Jack Flaherty and then went on an absurd run, and now here they are basically over the last 162 games or so that they've been one of the best teams in baseball. So they could, would I be surprised? Because I think internally they still think they have a chance here. Judd asked that earlier. What do they think internally? They think they have a chance. I don't think that they are hitting the sell button. They're fielding calls most likely, but I still think they're, hey, call us back in 3 weeks, 2 weeks, and then we'll see if we can make a deal for someone. But in terms of if they got rid of Danny Coulomb or even Harrison Bader, who had an awesome week here at the plate, those ones are rentals and are interesting to sell, are easy to sell off. It's if they sell off Duran and Jax, or even, as Jason Stark mentions, who the executive tells him, a Trevor Larnach or a Walner, that to me says we're done with this year. I don't think they'll go that far, but the fact that those names come up makes things also very interesting.
Yeah, there's so many layers here, and unfortunately, if you thought that guidance was questionable from the Pohlad family top down over the last several years, whether it was payroll or just lack of curiosity, whatever it may be, the fact that they are more tied up in it's fair to say that the owners of the organization care way, way, way less about fixing the on-field baseball product, short-term and long-term, than they do selling the team for as much money as possible. Right. So it's really hard to navigate this. Either us on this show figuring out what are they trying to do? Well, they're trying to sell the team. That's what they're trying to do.
Right.
And I have a couple of takes on this, but we can put them in the other category. So Dex, take us wherever you want.
Yeah. What should we go favorite thing? We go with favorite thing here? Or do you want to continue the bear? Do you want to continue down a least favorite thing?
Optimistic.
They won 2 games.
It's a favorite place ball club. Let's go.
Favorite thing. Okay. Favorite the Twins thing right now, Judd. You were there for 2 or 3. Your favorite thing.
You know what? In fact, my list is bountiful. I got 3 things, but I will step up to the plate and take the Byron Buxton thing. All-star for the second time. He hit his 20th home run of the season to lead off the game on Sunday. That, by the way, his second most. He had 28 in 2022. He has now stolen 16 bases, has not been caught. That is the second most bases he's stolen. His highest was in 2017, which is a lifetime ago. Byron Buxton. And the best part is this. In fact, you can check this out on the Judd Substack. The best part about the Buxton thing is this. In 2022, he was elected to the All-Star game. He actually started. Mike Trout was hurt. But if you guys recall, he went there and he couldn't participate in the home run derby because his right knee was a problem. And that's the knee that eventually got fixed, but it took like 2 years. And so, and he homered, and it proved to be, I think, the winning home run early in that game at Dodger Stadium. But he wasn't healthy. He came back, and long story short, he played 19 games for the remainder of the season, and that's all she wrote, okay? So now he goes home to play in Georgia. He's healthy. He's been playing great. This, again, to me, like, there's a ton of things about this team to be cynical about and to be down on. This is a great story.
Yeah.
This is a great, at 31, like, this sounds stupid, but he is finally reaching his potential. And at 31, when technically he probably should be slowing down, he's phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually gonna. There's other little things here and there that Harrison Bader had a big weekend, and there's definitely other things to highlight. But I almost feel like, hell, Joe Ryan just can. I know that the result, they lost the game yesterday, but he continues to just give you these ridiculous outings, strikeouts, whatever. But I don't know that there's anything else worth talking about as much as Byron Buxton in the favorite thing bin. It is, I highlighted this a week ago, and he's been on fire even since then. Like, he's on pace for one of the 8 to 10 best position player seasons in the history of the Twins, going back to 1961. The combination of power, of stolen bases, he's maybe not the defensive center fielder he was like 5 or 6 years ago, but hey, he's out there, and he's still one of the best defensive center fielders in the game. And I think, I don't want to take this too far because he's always like one weird step away or one full sprint into a fence from like being out for the season. But there is a chance that we're seeing potentially a sustainably healthy Byron Buxton for like 2 or 3 more years. He's under contract. It's one of the most team-friendly contracts in all of baseball. According to Fangraphs, he's already been worth double what they're paying him before the All-Star break. Like, if he didn't play another game the rest of the year, according to Fangraphs, who puts together based on like your wins above replacement and all of the money that's being spent on every player in baseball, it essentially says, here's what each player is worth relative to their performance on the field. And he's been worth like $30 million, and he makes 15 with a chance at some bonuses. So, as you're looking to make moves at the trade deadline and figure out what this roster looks like for the next 2 to 3 years, there's been, I would say most of our conversations on this show have been about what's your post-Buxton contingency plan year after year. You can't count on him to play more than 50 games, more than 100 games. His career is probably going to come to a short end. It's going to be disappointing. But is there a world where you've got a guy who's got 3 or 4 years left of prime because he's such an athlete and he hasn't played that many games, and he's just going to be a cornerstone piece for you? Now, if he came to you and said, I'll waive that no trade clause, I don't want to be here anymore, that opens up another conversation. But he, to this point, has not said that. He wants to be a Twin, at least as far as what we know publicly.
Yep. Because of his past, my philosophy on Buxton now is this. I'm going to enjoy it because it's fun to watch. Like it's literally what we wanted. He is a difference maker in a way that very few players are. And to see it now in full force is just a treat. So, like, I don't know. You're right. He could go to the All-Star game and twist his ankle and be hurt again or twist his knee. I don't know. But what I care about is, and also for his sake, we're finally getting the opportunity to see what in 2012, when he was a second pick by the Twins behind Carlos Correa, what we all sort of like were told about and expected. It's taken, 13 years, and it's finally like unveiling itself, and it's fun to watch.
There's a lot of parallels between Buxton and Joe Mauer. And now Mauer injured all the time, just constantly worried about, are they going to be able to make it through a full season? Both drafted. Maurer was number 1 overall. Wasn't Buxton number 2 overall behind
Correa.
Carlos Correa, right?
Yes.
So just super high draft picks.
Yep.
Wildly talented athletes across the board. And now in Maurer's case, Maurer actually wound up playing way more games than people, like right now. If you were to say, hey, Byron Buxton's going to play 125, 130 games, which Maurer did, you would take that. But here's another wild parallel between Joe Mauer and Byron Buxton, who are two of the great talents in the history of Twins baseball. Mauer still made the Hall of Fame, despite maybe only giving you like 75 or 80% of what his career could have been, which is crazy. Those guys have combined to play in 14 playoff games in their careers, dating back to like the early 2000s for Mauer. The Twins are 0-14 in those playoff games. Joe Mauer and Byron Buxton have never been on the field for a Twins playoff game victory before.
How many playoff games has Buxton played the full game?
He's played in 4 playoff games. He played and started one entire game. It was game 1 against Houston in 2020, the pandemic season.
Sure.
His first ever playoff appearance was 2017 at the Yankees, game 1 wild card.
Crashed on
was
the
that
wall.
the one game? It was the one game wild card.
Yes,
right? Yeah.
And I think he crashed into the wall and was hurt and had to come out. And then he also pinch ran while I think he was still concussed against the Astros and got picked off, but he pinch ran.
Yeah, he came into the 8th inning of the final game against Houston, in 20. And then he came on last year, or 2 years ago, I guess, to be the heroic pinch hitter. And it didn't go well. So he's only started and completed 1 of the 4 playoff games, but he's played in 4. Mauer played in 10. And the Twins, 2 of the great talents in Twins history, 1 Hall of Famer, not on the field for any team playoff victory.
Had to bring it down, didn't you?
I'd love to change that at some point, but it's more of a testament. Like it's not me trying to be a buzzkill. We're at the point now. 2 years ago, it was, boy, Buxton's disappointing the organization, because the organization has been kind of ready to pop a couple times, and then he's unavailable for October, those Astros series, right? Like, would they have gone further if he was available? It has flipped around, where now you're looking at this. My wife and I went, we celebrated her birthday in Vegas this weekend. And we were at, I think it was like the Nomad Bar inside Park MGM. Great cocktail lounge, by the way. Oh, yeah. And the mixologist cocktail guy behind the bar, big sports fan. He goes, "Oh, you guys are from Minnesota, huh?" And he's chatting us up about the Timberwolves, and then he goes, "How about the Twins, man? Like, what's the deal? I feel like Buxton." He's like talking. He goes, "I feel like they got to get their bleep together around Buxton, man. Like, that guy's having a crazy season." And I said, first of all, great baseball knowledge, bartender at a random bar in Vegas. But second of all, it's amazing how people were furious at Buxton for years because, dude, joined the party at some point. And this is the first year where it's been flipped around 100% the opposite. The team and the organization are not filling, their end of the obligation here.
I'll give you a favorite thing, and it's Cody Clemens. So Cody Clemens hits another massive home run. Now you could say that this is my favorite thing, but it's also an incredibly frustrating thing at the same time. Do you know that Cody Clemens has the 3rd best WAR of any position player on the Twins, better than the following players: Willie Castro, Trevor Larnach, Ty France, Ryan Jeffers, Matt Walner, Brooks Lee, Royce Lewis. He has been a more impactful player, at least in terms of wins above replacement, and some of these home runs he has hit. So Cody has already 10 home runs with the Twins this year. Now mixing in a little bit at first base, but these home runs have come at crucial points in games. I don't think I mentioned Carlos Correa, because yes, he has a better wins above replacement than Carlos Correa. So Cody Clemens, honestly, one of the better random. He wasn't a waiver claim. I think they traded cash to get him. They needed a body in, and he's been awesome. So I will throw some appreciation to Cody Clemens, but at the same time, look at the rest of the roster and say, what the hell is going on? Why is Cody Clemens the 3rd best player on the team?
You sell high on Cody Clemens here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, maybe.
Get a top 10 organizational
Might have
prospect
to.
from the Yankees for Cody Clemens.
Sort of the story of the season, right? It's like we got Cody Clemens. I mean, Jonah Bride, they got him through waivers. He's in St. Paul now, so he will inevitably at some point be called back up. I guarantee.
If you had a team of 9 Cody, how about 8 Cody Clemens and 1 Byron Buxton? Where would the Twins be in the standings right now? They'd be higher up.
They'd be higher up. Some clutch home runs.
Yeah, the Correa thing. I mean, like Cody Clemens has been just kind of a career, journeyman minor league quad A player, and he's definitely having the biggest impact of his major league career. But and Declan kind of mentioned this. It's less about the .8 wins above replacement of Cody Clemens than it is about Carlos Correa, according to Baseball Reference. Least favorite thing here. If we could transition to the negativity here for a second.
Yep.
Carlos Correa has been a break-even wins above replacement. He has literally been a replacement level player for the Twins through 78 games.
That is now an albatross contract.
It is.
There's no coming out of this.
We are at the point where you'd have to eat a huge chunk to get something of value for him in a trade.
Most definitely. So I actually on Friday was doing something for the Substack on this, and I texted Dex because I had gone and looked at Correa's fielding metrics, and they weren't great. They weren't terrible, but they weren't great. And I'm like, because the eye test has told me he's not getting either to the amount of balls that he did a year ago. They're very okay. And at the plate, he's been, for the most part, a huge disappointment. That contract has become and is a problem because you're paying him. And look, Phil, to echo your point, which I agree completely with, the Pohlads are not going to invest more, right? It's like, well, we got this contract, it's a sunk cost, so let's just go replace and get guys. That's not how a team that's trying to sell works. So until the team is sold, that contract just drags you down unless he turns things around. But I haven't seen, he goes through spurts, but I haven't seen any evidence that he's just not getting old.
He on the fielding metrics do not speak well of Correa's defense.
Correct.
So his last year in Houston, 2021, in a full season, he was worth 20 defensive runs saved at shortstop. One of the best, and he was regularly +10, +11, +9, but he had a career defensive season according to at least one metric, defensive run saved. So far in a half season this year, he's been a -6. And if that continues, he'll be closer to a -10, -11, -12 by the end of the year, which would be, if this continues defensively, it would be probably a 30 to 35 run difference compared to his last year in Houston in 2021 over the course of a year, which is if you want to think of it this way, it's like going from 100 RBIs to 70 RBIs on the offensive side. That's a really kind of loose way to put it. But that's a ton of lost value on defense. If and maybe there's some other metrics that would say it's not quite that bad, but defensive runs saved does not like his defense this year.
Yeah, he also has just lost a lot of the clutch gene. I mean, he is legitimately one of the best postseason hitters of all time. What he was able to do in Houston, and even 2023 was a horrible year for him in the regular season statistically, offensively. But then when the playoffs came and he allowed the injury to heal, he was great in the 5 games against the Blue Jays and Astros. He was really good. But for the most part, this is now not even trending. It's a disappointing signing. It's a disappointing move. It was probably the most exciting free agent move that's ever happened in this franchise's history. Do I say that with no hyperbole? What would be the second most free agent exciting move that this franchise has ever made?
Jack Morris was pretty exciting at the time, but I don't know that it met this threshold.
35 years ago.
Oh, I know. Well,
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Unfortunately. On the clutch part, so win probability added would probably be the best way to quantify that. Fangraphs, 20 different Twins hitters qualify for the win probability added metric, which is essentially when you come to the plate, based on the score, the inning, the men on base, everything, what is the percent chance your team has of winning the game? So let's say it's the bottom of the ninth inning, and the bases are loaded with nobody out or whatever it is, and you're down by 2 runs. An extra base hit probably swings it from a 30% win probability to like a 80%, right? So the best win probability hitter for the Twins has been Byron Buxton, by far the most clutch in terms of impact on percentage chance to win the game. Harrison Bader, number 2. Cody Clemens, number 3, to Dex's point. Dead last by a mile is Carlos Correa in win probability added for this team. Dead last.
Yeah, it's been awful. I also think, though, that we need to look at the cause. And I will say this, in retrospect, there's a very good chance that the Mets and Giants doctors knew exactly what they were looking at with that ankle. And I think it's fair to say this. The plantar fasciitis that he suffered in each foot in the last 2 years looks to be slowing him down. Like something is slowing him down. The fall off at his age, in my opinion, is too steep just to be like that he woke up to start the 2025 campaign and was like, I'm old and tired. Like, I think something caused this. And I don't know, like with Buxton, it can be fixed. But to me, just eye test wise at shortstop, if you watch him, he's just not simply getting the burst to balls that he did. And I mean, he's been fantastic there. It's not like he's good. He's fantastic. And for that metric to drop that much so quickly, I don't think it's just like he aged out. I think that it all goes back to what either the Mets and Giants doctor saw, or if it was a residual effect, the fact that he had a foot problem in both feet in different years for 2 years.
Yeah, but he has a lot of money. And, if you possess money and you're looking to find someone that you trust to handle that money or help you maybe even move money from one place to another, North American Banking Company can help you with those things. It's a Minnesota-based bank with 6 locations, Minnesota-based since 1998. So it's not one of these big national, no human contact banks. Human connection, safety and security of your accounts, and whether it's checking and savings or something bigger like a renovation, buying a home, financing something, new business, whatever, North American Banking Company can give you a better banking experience. Go to nabankco.com/Mackey to learn more. That's nabankco.com/Mackey, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
I'll give you a least favorite thing. And if you haven't, hit the like button and subscribe button here on the SKOR North Twins Show. Can we put an end to the Ty France thing? Like, I'm good to move. I'm ready to move on from Ty France. So he starts only one of the 3 games because, got to keep Cody Clemens batting there. But honestly, he came in here, his career looked dead in the water, and he was able to say, okay, I'm not as bad as I was at the end of that Seattle tenure last year where I got DFA'd. But, Cincy. I mean, in the last 100 at-bats for Ty France, 603 OPS, 214 at the plate. Doesn't really do a lot for you offensively. I don't have the defensive metrics pulled up, and I think he actually has made improvement there from where we just talked about defensive runs saved with Correa. I believe he actually has made an improvement from that, and he was very vocal about, I don't even know why they think I'm so bad at defensive runs saved. But Ty France, I'm good here. I'm good here, man. Like, Luke Keeshaw's getting closer to coming back. Cody Clemens has obviously been impactful at the plate. He's played a little bit more of first base lately. I'm good. I'm good on Ty France here.
Yeah, as a hopeful Ty France stan throughout my life, I'm with Dex on this. He's been with runners on base. It's funny because his RBI total is way higher than it probably should be based on his overall just numbers and batting average, but
sure,
oftentimes that comes back to earth too. The Ty France we all knew from 2022 in Seattle is probably not coming back at this point.
An all-star.
He's just a jag.
He was an all-star.
But he does have a higher WAR than Carlos Correa. So
he does.
There's that.
That's good. I'll give you mine. Matty Walner and I get it. Guys that hit for power often go through dips and dives and ups and downs, and I get that. But Matt Walner has, again, sort of regressed to a guy who they're playing, but his slash line right now is 200, 299, 431. And this is a guy who needs to give you pop somewhat consistently. Is that fair to say? And I can't, I thought that his stint in St. Paul, I think it was, he started off terribly in 2024, got sent down, got red hot. They probably wisely left him there, stayed hot, came here, definitely improved. So you're like, okay, that's sort of fixed. Like that part of his career should be done. But we're back there. And there are often now appearances at the plate where he looks completely lost. Completely lost. I think in some ways his outfield play has regressed, and that's just a small part of it. But Matt Walner, if I don't know what you do here, do you continue to bang your head against the wall and keep playing him? Because it sure doesn't feel like you are getting a professional approach on a consistent basis right now.
Yeah, dude. I mean, this is a constant theme within the Derek Falvey regime here, or the tenure, where guys who were either highly drafted and or performed at a really high level as a young player in the big leagues saw major regression or flatlining in the prime of their career. It goes back to Miguel Sano, and you can trace it forward into Royce Lewis, into Matt Walner, into Jose Miranda, who was a high draft pick, and Eddie Julian. And there's probably more that I'm forgetting here. To me, I'd even put Ryan Jeffers in that category as just guys who they showed you something big time. And it wasn't like fluky because they did it in the minor leagues. They were high draft picks in most cases. And then like in the portion of their career, 25, 27, 29, where they should be thriving. And not that you can't go through some slumps here and there, but your career shouldn't derail. And it happens all the time with this organization. Is it bad luck? I know they're going to tell you it's just bad luck. It's injuries, or it's like the player's not putting in what we tell them to do, I'm sure. But imagine this team. Part of their plan with first and second round picks was Walner and Miranda and Royce. And imagine what this team would be if even just like those three guys and Edward Julian from a couple years ago were performing at the level that we've seen them perform at their peak. Yeah. And you wonder why they're a handful of games below 5. You wonder why, one more negative thing here to get it off my chest, attendance update. You wonder why the Twins are on pace for the lowest attendance in the history of Target Field. Well, it'd be a lot more fun to come to the ballpark if you had three dudes in their prime that were like first and second round picks that were mashing and the Twins were winning games.
A perfect Sunday. Yesterday was perfect. Humidity lifted. Blue skies. Like if you're ever going to wake up and say, let's go to a ball game, Sunday was that day. Announced attendance, 21,294.
Yeah. And 2 years ago, so the 4th of July was actually middle of the week, but like the weekend after the Twins were home for that 4th of July weekend in 2023, 33,000 fans against Baltimore, 28,000, 27,000. And if you want to go back further, it was like 40,000, sure, when Target Field first opened. But
absolutely,
it is, so they are now... They're sitting 25th in attendance this year, just ahead of Pittsburgh and some teams that have minor league stadiums for the entire year. And if you compare it to Twins history, take away the pandemic years, in 2022 was they were averaging 2,000 more fans per game in 2022, but that was also like still kind of coming out of people being scared to go to ballparks and stuff. So I would even take that year out. They are 4,000 fans per game beneath the second lowest attended non-COVID season in the history of Target Field. The last time that they averaged fewer fans, non-pandemic, was at the Metrodome in the year 2000 when Jay Cannizzaro was their starting second baseman. But if Matt Walner and some other guys were hitting more, I'm dead serious. People would be more interested in coming to the ballpark. Yep. So it's Matt Walner's fault is the moral of this story.
We'll see if this holds. I'm going to guess it doesn't, to be honest. So on Saturday, it's supposed to be Joe Ryan versus Paul Skeens against the Pirates. Now, the starting pitcher has not been announced yet for either. They have the starters outside of the starting pitcher that has been announced. If Skeens starts that game, does he get pulled for the Saturday start?
No. The speculation at the ballpark yesterday was that Skeens might be bumped to a Friday start.
Oh,
like you would never
You would never like not start your ace in a regular season.
Correct,
game
which
because
is
of the All-Star
hilarious
break.
because you could make a case that Paul Skeens should. But yes, I don't think the All-Star game. I think the All-Star game is at Skeens and the Pirates' mercy. So I think Skeens starts Friday or Saturday, but Saturday would be the perfect storm if it's Joe Ryan against Skeens on a Byron Buxton bobblehead day. If you can't put 40,000 people in that ballpark.
Let's try 25,000 and see what
No,
happens.
I know, but I'm saying like this is the perfect. That's the perfect storm. Skeens, Ryan, good promotion.
Well,
yeah.
it is
You're probably right.
But the
30,000?
other thing is like Skeens is awesome, but like Skeens isn't enough of even Skeens is not enough of a mainstream household name to draw like 5,000 extra fans in the ballpark.
That's
so.
really, really sad.
Am I wrong though? Are people like, oh, are more than like a few thousand diehard baseball fans saying like we gotta go to see Paul Skeens pitch at Target Field?
Boy, I would hope so.
And the answer is no, and you're gonna see that in the attendance.
I would hope that they would, but you might be right. But if I was the Twins, I would call the Pirates and say, which game is he starting? We're gonna bang the drum on that one.
Yeah.
Cubs though for 3. That will draw.
Should be fun. It'll be fun to have the Cubbies here. Mm-hmm.
Plus, Friday night, Nelly. So, I mean, even if it's Paul Skeens and Nelly.
Oh, wow.
Got
That's right,
Nelly
dude.
performance. Getting hot in here. Little country grammar. Little batter up. Come on.
Let's rock and roll. That's right.
Judd, I love Judd's power rankings of his favorite Nelly songs of all time.
The
Let's
only
do
one
that.
I know.
Let's do that on Mackie and Judd.
I
this
only
week.
know one.
Which one?
Getting hot in here. Yep, that's the only one I know.
Yeah, it's
I
good.
love me
It's a good
some
one.
Nelly.
I don't know anything else from him.
Good tune.
Hit the like button, subscribe button. Your extra innings episodes coming at you from the ballpark this week. Plus, Trevor Plouffe Tuesday might be a Wednesday or a Thursday this week. We might have some schedule conflicts. So a Plouffe episode might not be tomorrow, but there'll be content here on the SKOR North Twins Show YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys, and we'll be talking at you soon.